think it's an interesting one for the future of the GTA, just in general, Chris, sir. Will the shortage of development of land ever catch up with the need we have for housing? In your view, is this ever even a possibility?
It's a great question.
That is a great question, and that's something we always are thinking about, and because that's right on point with supply, and there is, it will become very relevant over the next 2 decades in particular, based on the trajectory of immigration. And so there is a possibility that, we will run out of, land someday. It's not something that I would see in my lifetime, or even in my children's lifetime. But what it'll do is it just creates densification, right? So what we do is, we don't have any room to grow on ground level anymore, but we do have, probably, I don't know what it'd be interesting. We should probably have somebody do this math for us, but I don't know how many years ahead of densification do we have? So
Right.
we'll call, vertical communities, right? The condominium towers that we're building, we have, decades of room to grow there. Now it's going to change lifestyle. It's going to change the dynamics of neighborhoods. But in our lifetime, or our children's or our great grandchildren's lifetime, it would hard to imagine that we'll truly run out of space. Like, let's say, Manhattan being an island, it has what it has. Now they're still building on the island of Manhattan, but all they're building is high rise. There's no new, low rise. I mean, they may tear something down and replace it because of the zoning requirement, but everything that's coming down, generally speaking, on Manhattan is going up. So they're adding the density. So, there's a good example that, they're decades ahead of us in terms of.
And Chris, our good friend Peter Politis from Graybrook.
Yes.
We had him, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. We had a conversation about just that. And not only are they decades ahead of us in density, but Toronto's all like as well. It's 4 or 5 times the size. You could fit Manhattan inside Toronto proper 5 times.
Yes.
So we have more room. It is going to be a slower. So that's why there's so much new mid-rise, and they're not forcing high-rise. Yes. Because there is still, it's more livable. Toronto will always be more livable than New York. Yeah. Always. And we have a much more bigger and consistent lakeshore. We just have a different design. It's a newer city. New York's older.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have those issues, but we have decades of density and air rights left to exploit and use to make our city better, faster, and greater. So I love where you went with it.
Yeah. And there it is. I mean, there's lots of growth there. And really the issue right now that we have is the speed at which we can deliver the housing relative to the growth of the population. And that's what you need to keep your eye on as an investor going forward.